Hey, it's Captain Roger. It's getting a little late again, so out for my walk. Hopefully before we lose all the light. And while we're walking here, thought we might keep talking about our buddy Moses. I mentioned to someone earlier today, Moses was kind of a cranky old man. It might have something to do with the fact that, after 40 years in that palace, then he spent 40 years working for his father-in-law as a shepherd in the desert. And during this time, he still didn't really learn how to walk with God. In fact, he still really knew nothing about his people's God or their culture. And somewhere, not far after his 80th birthday, he was out wandering in the desert with some sheep. And he saw something, which, quite frankly, is not really that unusual. He saw a fire. Now, we all know wildfires. Wildfires can be crazy, dangerous things. And, in the desert, you get the heat, things get dry. It doesn't take much, a little lightning or static electricity spark off something, and you get a fire starts up. Fortunately, in areas with limited vegetation, they're not necessarily that dangerous, even though you want to be aware of them. And Moses, while he was walking in the desert with his flocks, he happened to see this fire. And he must have watched it for a while. Must have kept his eyes open, because he realized something strange. The bush that he was watching burn wasn't actually burning. I mean, it was on fire, but it wasn't being consumed. Usually you'd watch as limbs would wither and turn to ash and fall apart, and the fire would go from flames to embers to dust. But in this particular case, it was burning, but not burning up, which Moses thought was strange. So he went to take a look and see why such strange behavior was going on. And as he did that, a voice came to him and introduced himself as his God. Think about that for a minute. 80 years old, no experience with the God of his people, no real knowledge of his own history or culture, and a voice speaking out of a bush burning in the desert without being consumed says, "I am the God of your ancestors." What would you do if that happened to you? Would it get your attention? It got Moses' attention. He started to come closer. He wants to see what's going on. Who's playing a trick on him? Who's hiding behind that bush? Who is... And then the voice spoke again and said, "Hey, you're on holy ground. Take off your shoes." Now, this is kind of an odd request, but for Moses to walk any closer to God, he needed to take off his sandals, walk across the hot desert sand towards a burning bush. Think about how difficult it must be to be so completely shocked and stunned by something so unusual, and then to get a command that also takes you out of your comfort zone, and to comply with it because, what else are you going to do? But what kind of mindset does that put you in? Does it put you in a mindset of, I can't wait to find out more? Does it make you afraid? Does it make you want to turn and run the other way? Does it make you want to skeptically continue to look around for the source that you're sure must be there, other than the heavenly source that it actually was. As you go on your walk with God, this is the sort of thing that seems to happen quite frequently to people in Scripture. And that being the case, as you go on your walk, you might find these sort of things happening to you. You might hear a little voice in the back of your head say, go say an encouraging word to that person. Or, hey, you've got 2 jackets, offer one to that guy you saw on the street corner this morning. Or, take off your shoes. This is holy ground. Let's have a chat. If God says any of those things to you, I pray that you'll listen. If He says anything to me, I pray the same. Let's think on that for a little bit. I gotta finish my walk. Grace and peace to y'all today.